Next up, we're going to talk about new Lakers head coach JJ Redick.
Have mercy.
JJ Redick, for anyone who has been living under a sports rock, was recently named the new head coach of the Lakers. He signed like a 4-year deal, I think, after the Lakers tried to pursue Dan Hurley, head coach at UConn, and their method of trying to get him was to make him the sixth highest paid coach in the NBA. Not even in the top five. They wanted to make him top six, as in number six. And Dan Hurley was like, I'll pass, going back to UConn to try and get the three-peat. And now they hired JJ Redick, who, for anyone who is not aware, hosts a podcast with none other than LeBron James called Mind the Game. For anyone who, I felt as though that was a bit of a conflict of interest, but it doesn't seem to matter because LeBron apparently is the god of basketball. But we won't get into all of that, at least not yet. First, we'll just kind of talk, we'll give a rundown because Mr. JJ Redick is fighting somewhat of an uphill battle in terms of history because there really isn't a very good track record for head coaches with no prior NBA experience whatsoever becoming championship head coaches, or at least not championship head coaches with the team that gave them their first opportunity. But we'll get into this. So this says JJ Redick joins the Lakers with zero NBA coaching experience. How has that worked out for other teams? JJ Redick is set to be introduced as the new head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers on Monday. So that happened, of course, June 24th. As you might have heard, it will be the first time he has ever worked as a coach in any capacity outside of his son's youth basketball team. If the NBA's premier franchise hiring a coaching neophyte to lead it back into the contender ranks sounds strange to you, you are not alone. It is at best a bold move by Lakers leadership and at worst a desperate attempt to keep Redick's podcast partner LeBron James happy before he likely opts out of his contract and hits free agency. Even the names the Lakers invoke as past success stories to justify this hire, Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra, and Steve Kerr, had significantly more experience at the time of their hires than Redick. Riley was an assistant coach under Paul Westhead for parts of 3 seasons before he was given the job in 1981. Spoelstra worked under Riley for nearly a decade with the Miami Heat, mostly as a video coordinator and assistant coach. Kerr had 3 years of experience as the Phoenix Suns general manager before joining the Golden State Warriors. Meanwhile, Redick's post-retirement career has consisted of 3 years as an ESPN broadcaster and podcaster. Redick's hire isn't entirely unprecedented, though. NBA teams have hired former players who have never been on the other side of the clipboard. It's just a rare occurrence in the long history of the NBA. So, in the interest of evaluating just how big a leap of faith the Lakers are taking, let's take a look at all the other times an NBA team decided NBA or college coaching experience wasn't a prerequisite for the full-time job and how it worked out. We're not going to break down the coaches who had a real front office experience like Kerr, but we'll include them at the bottom. So, obviously, if you follow the NBA, you know about some of these guys. Steve Nash, he had never had any coaching experience. The Nets hired him in 2020 because Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving were strongly encouraging it, and that worked out as that was an unmitigated disaster. Um, you know, constantly missing play. They missed the playoffs a lot. Underachieved regular season. It was just a mess. Derek Fisher for the New York Knicks in 2014, career record 40-96. No playoff appearances in two seasons. The best playoff result was not any because they did not have any playoff experience. Just to back up real quick with Steve Nash, they had 2 playoff appearances in 3 seasons with the Nets, and they did make it to the Eastern Conference semifinals. That was that year where everyone thinks the Nets could have won a championship if Kevin Durant's toe wasn't on the line when he hit the long 2 ball that only, I think, tied the game or didn't tie the game. It left them 1 point shy against the Milwaukee Bucks. That was the year that the Bucks went on to win the championship against the Phoenix Suns in the finals. Jason Kidd got hired by the Nets in 2013. 5 playoff appearances in 8 seasons. Best playoff result was the NBA Finals. Was losing the NBA Finals Um, well, no, that can't be him as a coach because he won the finals as a player. So Jason Kidd went on to so they're including his entire playoff career. That's what it is. Lost NBA Finals. That's with his career with the Mavericks because they just lost the playoffs this year. So his success not with the Nets or with the Bucks, but the Mavericks they did go to the finals and lose. Mark Jackson with the Warriors, best playoff result, Western Conference semifinals. So it goes on and on and on. All relevant links will be in the description of this video, of course. But you get the idea. Generally speaking, coach with no experience gets hired by a team. There's no history to suggest that championships are in that regime's future because it tends to take some growing pains in order for you to get to that point. But the Lakers are trying to buck that trend, and they have hired JJ Redick. So, what do you make of this move by the Lakers to hire JJ Redick? And do you think it's possible that the Lakers, with JJ Redick as the head coach, can break the mold and do what no previous coach before him has done, which is become a championship head coach despite not having any previous experience in coaching in any capacity?
Yeah, I don't see this panning out well for the Lakers at all. I think this is going to be, a sideshow. I think I mean, the Lakers, as far as the LeBron era in LA, because, he's going to bring the circus with him. And right now, it is in full blown Barnum and Bailey mode. I mean, they got polar bears riding unicycles right at this point, doing juggling acts. I mean, clowns with, exaggerated shoes and homie the clown socks. It is going off the rails. So they're going to hire JJ Redick for basically nothing. And this is my thing with the collusion with this, because they're doing this little sleight of hand thing. You're going to approach this Dan Hurley guy, who is the potential is high with this dude, as far as being able to relate to these young players, having schemes, having hard practices, you name it. This guy's a young guy, but cut from an old school cloth, from what I can tell. And so this guy's the next guy, apparently. And you offer him the sixth highest salary in California, of all locations, where the taxes is super dumb. When I heard the numbers of what they offered him, I was like, is this a joke? You clearly have to be joking. And so to me, I felt like JJ Redick was always the guy. And they used this Dan Hurley thing as a publicity stunt, as this whole thing has been. Remember that tweet LeBron did when he put the
hourglass. Yeah.
Everybody thought it was for trade deadline, but nothing happened during the trading deadline. That was for Darvin Ham. And then as soon as they started this podcast, because this podcast felt impromptu. It didn't feel like they've been planning this for years. Normally, when these players start a podcast, look at Paul George. Look at Jeff Teague. These guys are just starting their podcast or whatever, and they have a whole set. Outside of Draymond Green recording in his closet, everybody's got a set. And so with LeBron and Redick recording in some back room, sipping wine, I'm like, where's the set? Y'all launching this podcast? What's going on here? So it felt real impromptu. And so I think at that moment, when we saw that they were having a podcast, the decision was already made that JJ Redick is going to be the next head coach for the Lakers. Darvin Ham is out of here. Hourglass. And then from there, what we're going to do is we're going to start a campaign to legitimize you. Hey, LeBron, why don't you guys, this is all PR. Even in that press conference, JJ Redick had the nerve to sit there and lie to everybody. Somebody in the back was like, when he said that me and LeBron we didn't even talk about this. until after I got 30 minutes after I got the job. Now, if you want, if so, these people are treating us like we're idiots at this point.
Yeah, they really are. Yes.
This whole fiasco is an insult, and the NBA is just letting it happen. They're going to draft Bronny, which is going to be the final. I mean, that's going to be the final clown coming out of the car. He's like, there's no way another clown can come out of this. Here goes Bronny. So this circus is not going to stop. I mean, the content that's going to come from this alone, people are going to have field days with this disaster. So there's two ways this is going. I'll let you go. This can play out how it should play out with this guy being the head coach of that team of misfits. And they shouldn't even make the playoffs. They shouldn't even make the play-in. Or we're going to see more collusion, more fiascos, more, I don't want to say it cheating, but I will say more favorable calls. And then they're going to weasel their way up the ladder again. So we'll see how this happens, man. But I think the NBA wants this. I think this is something going on here, and I don't like it. It stinks to high heaven, if you ask me. But what are your thoughts about this fiasco of JJ Redick? Well, at least it's a fiasco to be. JJ Redick signing with the Lakers. You down with this? What's going
on? I don't think it's going to work in this current iteration. He'd have to be given a lot of years, and he'd have to, like, even beyond this 4-year deal, like, let's say he enters into the, his 3rd year, or he gets into his 4th year, the Lakers would have to extend him to give him more time to institute whatever he thinks he needs to institute in order for it to work. It's not going to pan out within the first 4 years. And what the Lakers have shown a tendency for in recent history is impetuousness. If they don't get what they feel they are supposed to get within the first 2-3 years, they're firing people left and right. Shouts out to Colin Cowherd and Nick Wright for that matter. I'm going to be fair and bring his name up because he mentions this as well. But contrary to the Lakers' image, in actuality, they are a poorly run organization. They get by off of their history. Magic Johnson and Wilt Chamberlain and Kareem, Shaq, Kobe, and all of this other stuff. So they get by off of their history. But as it stands within the last, I would say probably 10 years, they're not a very well-run organization. They run their organization very much like penny pinchers. They're kind of mom and pop-ish, lowballing people on deals. It's why they can never land the big time head coach that they want to, and why I agree with you that this was smokescreen, because all along the intended target was JJ Redick, in my opinion, because they knew they could afford JJ Redick.
Correct.
They knew they couldn't afford Dan Hurley, but they wanted to drive JJ Redick's price down by showing the world that we really want Dan Hurley first, and this is what we're willing to offer him. So if we're going to offer Dan Hurley this, JJ, come on, bro. We're not going to offer you more than what we were going to offer Dan Hurley, somebody who's won 2 straight national championships. That's silly. So this whole time, I do believe that it was a ploy to get JJ Redick in at the price that they want to get him for. And it speaks to my point that I don't really think I don't think the Lakers are very well run at the executive level, general manager. They're not very well run. They just live off of the past. They're kind of like, no offense, I don't mean to make you mad when I say this, but they're kind of like the Dallas Cowboys and the Miami Hurricanes, bro.
No, they're not like
they're like the U. They're kind of like the U. They living off the past. The you run around out here still thinking that it's 2001, bro. I'm sorry. Jeremy Shockey ain't walking through that door no more. Willis McGay, he ain't walking through that door no more. Clint Portis, them boys ain't walking through that door no more, bro. Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, they not walking through the door no more, bro. I'm sorry. But that's what the Lakers remind me of. Like, y'all living in the past. This is not the Kobe Shaq three-peat. This ain't the Shaq and this ain't the Kobe Gasol back-to-backs, but y'all still feel like y'all got this prestige. And they're just not very well run. But when you're not very well run, you'll do stuff like hire JJ Redick at the behest of a 40-year-old player who is by hook or by crook still, unfortunately for you, your best player. And even if that's not the case, because the Lakers will swear up and down, and LeBron and his media machine will swear up and down that LeBron had nothing to do with this. Even if that's true, like you said, you think people are stupid. No one's going to believe that. And if you're as smart as everyone, if you're as smart as you tell the world you are, you have to also know no one's going to believe that.
Correct.
And for you to know that no one's going to believe that, and you still go through with this, shows how dysfunctional and not well run your organization is. So that's the organizational angle of this. Now let me get to JJ Redick. Unless the Lakers extend him, I don't think it's going to work. Not only is there no precedent for not only is there no precedent for a head coach with absolutely no coaching experience in any capacity, college or pro, winning at the highest level in the NBA. There's also no precedent for a team whose best player is in his 20-something year at 40 years old, being a team that's going to win a championship. It's just not going to happen, guys. I don't give a damn what numbers LeBron puts up. He's your best playmaker by percentage. He's like your top 2 or 3 best three-point shooter. He's your best passer, best ball handler, best point guard. LeBron's still at 40 years old, 20 plus years in. What you got? You're dead in the water. You have no shot. These young thoroughbreds in the Western Conference are not going to cede power to LeBron and the Lakers just because JJ Redick is the head coach. And there's nothing that JJ Redick can do about that. Furthermore, JJ Redick is one of these analytics people who believes that you can't be good if you can't shoot threes. So he's going to try and do what he can to work with the personnel he currently has at his disposal to try and go like 5 out and do this small ball thing and just rain threes all over the place. Problem with that is the Lakers don't really have a ton of great three-point shooters, and you have to be able to mix size and perimeter defense with that shooting in order to make that work. And the Lakers are lacking in the defense category. So as it stands from a roster standpoint, it's not looking good unless the Lakers are able to make moves, but they're cap strung. So good luck with the Lakers making moves unless they want to go into the luxury tax, which they won't do because they don't have a lot of money like that to go into the tax. So all of these things kind of work together to suggest this is not going to work. Here's the one thing that I'll say about JJ Redick real quick. JJ Redick's greatest challenge, in my opinion, is not going to be X's and O's or schemes or how smart he is or lack thereof. Everyone talks about how great he is, how smart he is, how much of a genius he is when it comes to basketball. Fine, whatever. I'll let you have that. We'll see when it comes to the product on the court. But JJ Redick's greatest challenge, in my opinion, is going to be his temperament. That's going to be his greatest challenge.
Yeah.
How is he going to act when the media and when the talk shows and when the podcast people are calling him out on his coaching moves and how suspect they are and how the team is underperforming because inevitably they will underperform? How is he going to be able to handle that? Because thus far, based upon what I've seen with him on ESPN, he does not have the temperament for criticism. JJ Redick is one of these people who thinks that if your opinion is different than his, you're insane. JJ Redick is a very moody, serious person. And whenever I used to watch him on First Take, if there was an opinion that somebody had that was different than him, he would have a conniption fit because he just could not understand how in the world it could be possible that someone could ever disagree with any of his basketball opinions because they're just so perfect and ironclad and sound. And that's his biggest issue because, hey, JJ, I got news for you, bro. People are going to criticize what you do. They're going to criticize your coaching decisions. They're going to criticize your rotations. They're going to do it. And I know you think you got all the answers because you're another one of these people who thinks that he's the smartest person in any given room that he's in. But that's not going to stop the media machine from critiquing how you handle your job. So his greatest challenge is going to be his temperament. And we'll see how it pans out. But all things considered, I think that it is headed for disaster. And I will repeat what I have been saying for a long time now and what I've said on this channel as well. I cannot wait until LeBron retires.
Yeah, I agree with that. And touch on the point with the temperament thing. As we saw in the press conference, somebody just asked him a simple little question, and he's sitting there talking about I don't give a f. Being very unprofessional. I felt like Colin Cowherd, calling him out for having a backwards hat and stuff. I was like, this is very unprofessional. What are you trying to do? What point are you trying to convey by dropping an F-bomb in your inaugural meeting? What are you doing? So to me, it was all put on him. And I saw some genuine attitude there. This guy has a very nasty attitude. You're going to give this guy dictatorial power over the team, outside of LeBron, of course.
Exactly. He does it. It's LeBron's power.
No, I know, but everybody else is going to be an effing idiot, and he's going to chew him out. I bet. This guy can't resist. Yeah, interesting thing, man, with all this stuff coming up. I found out that this guy was homeschooled for a large portion of his younger life, and then he went off to high school and stuff. And so this guy here, as pretentious as he is, as arrogant, as smug, hey, man, I give this guy a big pass. I couldn't stand him in college. But as a professional, I felt like he got humbled, and I felt like he was chilling as a pro. So I was doing more cheering for JJ Redick, I found myself doing, than hating on the guy. I was like, man, I guess I was hating him because he was at Duke, because he seemed pretty chill as an NBA player. But then post-retirement, it started off pretty good. But then this persona of this basketball
genius.
Savant.
Yeah.
He just talks about basketball with a passion that doesn't make you smart, and it doesn't make you have a high IQ. I've seen this guy come off screens running full speed. He didn't even have to come off that hard, but yet he was shooting basically a running jumper for a three-pointer, where he's basically landing inside the three-point line because the momentum is carrying him so much. He would miss him all the time. And I'm like, JJ, why are you coming off these screens so hard? Somebody that watches enough film or something like that or whatever in practice will tell him to calm his behind down, and he don't have to come off these screens so hard. But somebody with such a high basketball IQ, such a high basketball mind, go watch this guy's film. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Ticket TV, man. When JJ Redick called out Doc Rivers for being, not being accountable and all this other stuff, he went into this guy's game log and stuff like this because people was bagging on Doc Rivers. And he was like, yo, Doc Rivers is the one that gave you your opportunities. He actually that gave you playing time. And then he went into the playoff series where they were losing, when they had the lead and lost it all. And they was going down the line and looking at JJ Redick's performances, 3 for 16, 7 points, 9 points, playing 30-something minutes, and his stat lines were horrendous in those losses. And so he was like, hey, man, he put the players out there. The players going to play. JJ Redick, you had the opportunity to close these games out, but you want to blame it on Doc Rivers. Now, we can have our own conversation about Doc Rivers, but the point remains is that this guy got so bold in the chest to go call out Doc. And then in this current press conference, he was doing a lot of caping for Doc Rivers, talking about I learned this from Doc. I learned this from Doc. And I was like, bro, this guy is a narrative. I mean, it's all narrative. This is all a show. This is all theatrics. So from Rob Pelinka looking like Rob Lowe, I'm saying, bro, these guys look like the same people. You know what I'm saying? This whole thing from Jeannie Buss out there colluding, smooching up with her her Mandingo warrior on Women's Appreciation Day. You know what I'm saying? This whole thing is a charade. As you mentioned, this is a poorly run organization. You know what I'm saying? They really want Hollywood. And so, yeah, man, the Buss family's dropping the ball on this. I can't stand any of this, to be honest. But I'm here for the train wreck. And if this goes unimpeded, without any NBA collusion, but I guarantee you this, they're gonna make that salary cap do gymnastics. I bet they're gonna have a functionable roster come season start. You're gonna be how they did that. Oh, bro, the NBA gonna find its way. It's something like how the Rams always do. It's like how the Rams keep pulling off all this stuff. They keep getting all these people. And don't y'all run out of money? They ain't even in the luxury tax. So they're gonna find a way to make it do like the 49ers doing. They got Hall of Famers all through their roster. How y'all do
but
that?
those organizations have much richer ownership than the
Well,
than the Bucks.
well, what I'm
That's
getting
the
at is
difference. Yeah.
what I'm getting at is the salary cap's the salary cap, and they're gonna make the
Mhm.
salary cap do numbers. Now we're not talking about outside staff; we're talking about the players. So they're gonna make some stuff happen. Trust and believe, because the league wants this. They love all of this. They love this attention more than real attention. So that's why they keep promoting all of this garbage. So hey man, grassroots people on the ground, you know what I'm saying? We see this for what this is. And this is to me an absolute circus and a sideshow. So best of luck to Lakers fans. You guys got it in, bro. It took us about 5-6 years to get over what LeBron did to us. So y'all got 4 years of JJ Redick allegedly. Let's see if he makes it past 2. And if he does, the y'all in for it. Talking about something we're gonna be doing math, analytics. It's like, bro, money ball. Let's go.
Yeah, that's what he thinks. That's he looks at basketball like a spreadsheet. That's how that's how his mind works. And I'm not totally dismissive towards analytics, but you also have to pay attention to the things that analytics can't show you, which is like what is in this particular guy's like mental makeup. Analytics don't explain all that kind of stuff. So, but furthermore, like I said, the Lakers don't have the roster right now to execute what it is that he is going to try to do. And I know what he's going to try to do. He's going to try and institute his own version of the Phoenix Suns with Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire. Because I would say the Warriors, but that's too far advanced. You cannot do that. But what he'll try to do, because they got Anthony Davis over there, which the comp to Anthony Davis in that particular example would be Amari Stoudemire, is to try and approximate what the Suns used to do back then with that 15 seconds or less, throw the ball up the court as fast as possible, jack up threes stuff. But you don't got a Steve Nash. You don't really have an Amari Stoudemire. You don't have a Sean Marion. You don't have a Joe Johnson. You don't have a Leandro Barbosa. You don't have all of these people to kind of try to equate that. And I know that that's what he's going to try to do. But history's just not on his side. History's not on his side. So unless the Lakers give him a long leash, I would surmise that it's not going to work out. The Lakers would have to extend him to give him enough time. And the Lakers have shown that they are so impetuous that they don't believe in giving people time. They're going to give you 4 years, and if that 4 years don't cut it the way they want it to be, the way they want it to, despite LeBron's backing or blessing, they're going to get rid of you. And don't depend on LeBron to defend you into perpetuity, because LeBron don't like you today, but if you start doing stuff and he don't like it, pretty soon LeBron will turn on you too, and then that's going to accelerate the firing process. So good luck to Mr. JJ Redick. I think for the future of his career, if he can get his temperament under control and manage his emotions better and understand that even though he is a smart person, and he believes he's a smart person, that doesn't mean people are not going to critique your work. So don't get freaked out and bent out of shape just because somebody has a dissenting opinion towards you. I think if he can keep that aspect of his personality under wraps, he might have a future career as a coach, even beyond the Lakers. But I don't see the Lakers working at all.
He won't. And this is the last thing I'll say, but that's why I brought up the homeschooling thing, because I think he has a bit of a personality issue. And I think him being closed off from other people in those critical years of development prevented him from empathizing the appropriate way or taking criticism the appropriate way. And as soon as he got into high school, he was already this athlete guy. And so he streamlined right into popularity, basically. So he never really had to deal with criticism. So as soon as he gets it, he goes off the rails. So I think he has a bit of a personality thing, which is at this point baked in. So he's going to get challenged by players, and I can already tell you he's going to have a nasty attitude towards the people he don't care for. And that's not how you coach guys. That's not how you coach men. So he's gonna have issues. So he's gonna have to learn how to talk to people because already he started off day one. That's a sign, bro. Anybody ever did this before? Anybody call him out for it either? I mean, people are on the internet, but that was highly unprofessional. You know, and you know, you need to carry yourself in a professional manner when you're leading men in this capacity. You cuss in the locker room, but don't cuss out there on stage when everybody gonna be sitting here judging you. So yeah, I don't care for it, man. But we'll see what happens, bro. You know, timestamp this, bro, and I'm a timestamp your Hurricanes remark
Oh yeah,
when we,
yeah,
when we make
yeah.
when we make the college football playoffs this year and win the ACC. And we'll see what we do in the playoffs. But we're gonna at least win the ACC this year.
Yeah, well, once Florida State leaves the ACC, y'all gonna be the only people left in it anyway. It's gonna be y'all and UNC
All right,
battling it out every year.
talk now, boy. Talk now. Y'all laughing now. Y'all laughing now.
Oh God. I'm not gonna say good luck Lakers or JJ Redick because I don't want to see. I don't care about either one of them. Whatever.
But I genuinely wish the best of genuine Lakers fans. You know, that's not here for this.
Well, genuine Laker fans are over this. There isn't a long time non-bandwagon Laker fan that I know who isn't already over LeBron and wants to get over. Basically, how we felt with the Heat. Good riddance. I'm glad you left, bro. Get out of here. Correct. So yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you. Shouts out to those people, Laker fans, the real ones. We feel y'all pain. Trust me.